In the early 70s, a bunch of us guys were getting our first cars. We wanted to get a lot of driving practice. And the gang of guys I hung around with, we would normally, at lunchtime, grab our brown bag lunch and go out to somebody's car that would normally be parked in front of the school or at the shopping mall right across the street from the school. And we'd sit in there, start at the car, warm up, eat lunch, and talk. This one school day, I had a friend named Norton. Now, Norton was kind of in a gang that knew my gang, and so we were like friends of friends. I didn't know Norton that well, but certainly well enough for him to invite us to his car to eat lunch. So a bunch of us went into his car, and there was 3 in the back, 2 in the front, and the driver. So that's six teenage boys. We're talking early 70s. Well, 74, getting towards mid 70s. Summer. Norton finishes his lunch and he says, let's go driving. So we took off and we're driving around the shopping mall. There's like a big road that goes around the 3 sides of the shopping mall. 144th Avenue, 66th Street, down to 137th Avenue. We get down to 66th Street and 137th Avenue, and wouldn't you know it, pulling up to the intersection right beside us is a guy named Ron. Now, Ron had a brand new orange Vega with a racing stripe on it, and he had one friend with him. He's in the left lane. Norton, with all of us in his bigger car, I don't know what kind of car it was, a Ford, I think it was a Ford something. He had 6 people in his car, and of course we're looking at each other and we said, okay, race is on. So Ron is revving his little Vega engine, and Norton's revving his engine, and we're sitting at a red light. So this is automatic drag race. Now, think about this. Ron is actually pretty heavy. I think he was like 250 pounds, but he's a heavy guy in a smaller car with a smaller engine, and he's got one fairly average weight friend, not very heavy. All of us kids were pretty skinny, but there's more of us and it's a bigger car. So we're all trying to do these weight and power and gearing calculations in our head. Who's going to win? Well, the light changes green and Norton just hammers it right to the floorboards, and that car took off. Not only that, I was sitting beside Norton. I was in the center front seat, and I was watching Norton go through the gears and the speedometer. So I looked at the speedometer and the gears. He had that gas floored right from just a quarter second before the green light. Ron takes off. Now, I'm concentrating on Norton, so I don't really see what's happening. I'm sure Ron was even with us from the outset, but I didn't pay attention to my peripheral vision. I was concentrating on the speedometer and what gear we were in. Now, I'm going to tell this to the best of my recollection. I think I may have made a diary entry about this. If I'm wrong, the diary entry will be correct. But this is unbelievable. So I'm sitting there watching, and this car pushed us into the back of the seats. You could feel it accelerating. Norton kept that thing in first gear, and I want to say until 60 miles an hour. Now, all you mechanics out there, you might say, okay, that's impossible. Okay, so then it might have been 40 miles an hour. But first gear and 40 miles an hour, that is a lot. First gear, okay, right. So then he pops it into second gear. And then again, we could feel this car lunging forward from second gear, and he held it in second until 90 miles an hour. Now that I'm pretty sure of. I absolutely know he did not go into drive, and I'm pretty sure, to the best of my recollection, it was 90. Second gear doing 90 miles an hour. So if any of you automotive engineers out there tell me that that is completely impossible, the engine would explode, maybe my memory's slightly off. But I don't have my diary with me right now, so I can't refer to it. But these are the ridiculous values that he put his car through. We won, even with all the kids in the car and the heavier car. We won decisively. We turned up 82nd Street. We came back to the school victorious, and Norton parked his car where it was. We all got out, and there was this just burning chemical smell. And Norton turns to me and says, "You smell that?" And I said, "Yeah, what is it?" He goes, "That's burning transmission fluid." Well, there you go. I learned something that day. That was Norton's adventure for that day. More to come.